Yeah, it's good, YouTube. Back with another one. Sorry for the mic movement, but yeah, it's your boy Dark Shadow. Let me stop. This man Ty, A.K.A. Dark Shadow. I might as well say the full name. Let me go ahead and move this. Shoot. Oh well, I guess I gotta keep it like this. So we in here. We're looking at the top 10 new games of 2024, and let me know what games in the comment section y'all are interested in seeing in the future. I'm gonna take a look at these games and see about put my input. Let's get into it.
2023 was a huge year for games, and why would they want to stop? Of course they don't want to stop. It looks a lot like they're trying to carry that momentum, and we got a lot of big titles hitting us in the first half of the next year. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, the top 10 new games of the first half of 2024. Starting off with number 10, it's Tekken 8.
Okay, Tekken. I do gotta say, I've played Tekken. The first Tekken I've ever played was Tekken 6. I think I played it like on a PSP or something. I don't remember what version I played, but I do remember playing Tekken 6. One of my old friends from like elementary school put me on the Tekken. And I did enjoy the game. I just never sat down and actually got into it. Like the only fighting games that I've actually gotten into was I was into Soul Calibur 2 back in like the PS2 era. I was into that heavy for some reason. You know, like Injustice, Mortal Kombat. I like Mortal Kombat, but I never owned a Mortal Kombat game, and I never bought one. I could play it because I got PlayStation Plus Premium, but long story short, I never had a Tekken game. I think I could play Tekken 7 on PlayStation Plus Premium, but what's the point? Tekken 8 is out, so yeah. Let's see what's up with it.
Which is a massive, big ol' thing. It's the first high-profile fighting game to use Unreal Engine 5. It is the first Tekken game to use Unreal Engine 5, and it is a hell of a look. Wowie. Tekken 8 is technically incredible looking, but it's also a Tekken game, so that means it's probably a very good fighting game. Tekken is fun as hell. Like, it's, since its introduction, always been a game that people love. I've always come back to Tekken whenever they release a new one, and I'm never disappointed, at least in how the game feels and plays. Sometimes maybe there's some issues surrounding it, but these are smooth, fluid fighting games that I really enjoy and can't wait to dive back into. I won't have to wait too long either. Tekken 8 is landing on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC January 26th. At number 9 is
So this game, at the time of this recording, it's already out, because I'm recording this on January 31st. So this video, when this video came out? Let's see. When did this video come out? It came out a month ago. Doesn't say the exact date, but it came out a month ago. It's got 1 million views. I hope my video get 1 million views. Share my video, y'all. Get it to 1 million. Get me monetized. I've been unmonetized for a long time. I don't even know if I'm gonna get monetized anymore, to be honest. Part of me want to give up. Other than that, Persona 3 Reloaded. I heard about that game. Let's see what that is.
Persona 3 Reload. As you know, Falcon the Game Bird has always been a big Persona fan, and I'm quite excited for a remake of Persona 3. It has been a long time since I've played Persona 3. I
never played Persona a day in my life. It looked like an anime game, I ain't gonna lie. You know, only anime games I played was Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm. I've never played the first one, but I played the second one up to the fourth one. And I believe I skipped Generations, Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations. Yeah, I skipped that one, and I think there was another one after that. Yeah, but I know I skipped Generations. I never had that game. But as far as like the second one to the fourth, played them, beat them. People online are freaking tryhards. If y'all want to see me play online on Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 and probably rage like how I was in Mario Kart, let me know. Shit, I might do it anyway. That's not a good idea.
I did kind of play the re-release here recently, but I didn't really beat it because I knew this was on the horizon. It's essentially Persona 3 and Persona 5 quality, and I'm there. It takes nothing to get me in the door on that. I mean, they've really done a lot here. Unfortunately, it does mean some of the content that was added after, like the female protagonist or the epilogue chapter, that stuff's not there, but they have redone all of the animated cutscenes, and it really is like Persona 3 at Persona 5 quality. Apparently, there's going to be a lot more environmental stuff you can do too. They haven't altered any of the dialogue or that kind of stuff, but I mean, come on, why wouldn't you want to play this if you're a Persona fan? Or just a fan of these kind of like weirdo, goofy ass, let's talk about society, but let's do it through the lens of a bunch of crazy crap. Oh, and
This game, I know this is my first time even seeing gameplay on it. I never watched this game. This game looked like the anime Sims. You know, I could be wrong, but it looked like the anime Sims so far. I ain't gonna lie.
and also, like, you have to go to school and crap, and it's weird. Also, I mean, everything about Persona is super weird. It's heightened to a degree where I'm sure it probably turns some people off, but these are interesting games, to say the very least. I'm excited for this. It's coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC February 2nd. And number 8 is Alone in the Dark. So, what is regarded as perhaps the progenitor of Resident Evil is being brought back in the very same way.
I'm like the guy from Stranger Things. Is that him? The guy that played the sheriff? I low-key look like him in game form. Let me see. We about to look this up together. We about to look this up together. Go on Google. From Yahoo. Just go on Google. I prefer Google, my guy. Google. You know what? Screw Google. We're gonna use Yahoo. Stranger Things. Cast. Let's see. He should pop up. Yeah. We gotta take a little look. Is that him? Yo, don't look like him. Don't that look like him? Yo, I know I'm not bugging. I look like him. I think that's him.
That Resident Evil 2 and 3 were so incredibly successful. In fact, the developers, Pisces Interactive, were brought in by THQ Nordic to, in a lot of ways, attempt to replicate the successes of those games. Much like those games, it takes the fixed camera tank controlled Alone in the Dark and makes it into a third person, over the shoulder, much more modern experience. Now, I'm personally very excited for this. If you want to kind of see how it works, there's a demo out right now called Grace in the Dark. It's a prologue chapter. It kind of sets you up with expectations as to what this exactly is going to be. I think it really does a good job showing that this is going to be a great remake. I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be pretty big. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC March 20th.
Hey, y'all want me to play this? I might start playing some new games. I ain't gonna lie. You know, them old games ain't getting the views, so I'm gonna have to start playing the new games. You're gonna see me over here being in a Let's Play channel or something like that. I don't know, but shit, these new games do look fire. I ain't gonna lie.
And number 7 is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice.
This game I definitely want to get. I'm curious. I do like Rocksteady, and I like Batman. Y'all see, if y'all follow my channel at all, y'all know I reacted to Batman Arkham series, and I think I played a couple of Batman games on this channel. But yeah, let's get it. Rest in peace to the guy that played Batman on the Rocksteady games, though.
League. Now, I absolutely want to note that this is maybe a controversial pick, but we're talking about big games that people are going to talk about a lot, and whether this ends up a bad live service style game, even if it's not necessarily a live service game by the time it comes out, or if it turns out to be very good, I think people are going to talk a lot about it. I obviously hope for the latter. This is the last Batman performance by Kevin Conroy. and it's a dark one from the looks. The game is set in the Arkhamverse, however, takes place in Metropolis, and all of the real big, great superheroes have been taken over by Brainiac, and it's your job to kill all of them. I, like I said, really do hope that this turns out to be a good game.
I hope so too, because I have a feeling that it's going to turn out trash, but I have a feeling it's going to turn out good at the same time. It's like 50-50 between being completely butt cheeks or being fire. Like the idea of it is interesting. Like, you got super villains killing superheroes because it's like the roles is in reverse. The villains are the heroes, and so on. You know, so yeah. I'm trying to imagine what it's gonna be like trying to fight Superman as Harley Quinn or Captain Boomerang or something. Dang. I think Superman gonna be the final boss. I think it's only right.
The idea is honestly not something we've ever really been able to play, like superhero hunting. That's potentially quite good, but also given Gotham Knight and all of the live service stuff, there is good reason to be skeptical about this. So good to note, great potential.
Yeah, Gotham Knights, I didn't even beat the game. I ain't gonna lie. I prefer Batman Arkham Knight and the Arkham series over it so far, but Gotham Knights was not bad. It's just I prefer Batman Arkham series. I'm gonna have to beat Gotham Knights. Like I have it on P5 and never finished it. I just stopped playing it. Should I beat it? Should I beat Gotham Knights? Should I start it over and do a new game on the channel? Should I turn this channel into a Let's Play? Well, I guess what? No, next time on Dragon Ball Z featuring this man's. Okay, let me stop.
Also potential to be a big flop. Either way, we're all going to be talking about it a whole lot. It's landing on the PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on February 2nd. And number 6 is Skull and Bones. I mean, allegedly, we're actually going to get Skull and Bones. They've been advertising it pretty heavily. I
never heard of this game.
Seeing commercials for it. This game's been in development hell for a long ass time. This was originally developed as an expansion for Assassin's Creed Black Flag as a spin-off MMO called Black Flag Infinite. That was way back in 2013. This project has also been a money hole, allegedly costing over $120 million. But over the last year, there have been a couple of closed betas, and people have come away from them weirdly optimistic about the game. A lot of the time, this type of thing happens over a decade, and then, you get something like Duke Nukem Forever. But apparently, people are thinking that it's actually a pretty fun game with a surprisingly decent story. Now, I can't comment as to the validity of this information. I did not play the betas, but I'm not as iffy about this. I mean, I've seen a lot of game footage, and it looks fun. I think the reason why we all wanted this game in the first place was because the ship combat in Black Flag was quite good, and it looks quite good here.
I never played Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I ain't gonna lie. I have it. I bought an Assassin's Creed deal, I remember, on Steam. It came with Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And all I played was Syndicate. I ain't never played the other ones. And I think it came with Assassin's Creed Rogue. The only Assassin's Creed game I ever played and beat, really, and I put time in, was Assassin's Creed 3, which was good. But I do want to get into the Assassin's Creed series. I'm backed up on it like crazy. If I only beat one game, then what did I tell you? And Assassin's Creed 3 came out, I win over 10 years ago. Like, it's old if there's a remaster of the remaster version of it on PS4. You know that. Shoot, should I play The Last of Us? I ain't never played The Last of Us. I have it. I have the second one. I have the PS4 version. Man, sorry for that X-Style thing, but there's so many things I gotta do on this channel. Y'all gotta slap me.
Here. Now, there is bound to be some degree of confusion because this game has existed for a very long time, and there have been a few different ideas as to what this was supposed to be, but it looks pretty straightforward to me from the gameplay, and it looks pretty fun. I'm excited to give it a whirl, and if it's as fun as it looks, I think that we've got a winner. Skull and Bones is landing on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC February 16th. And number 5 is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
I ain't never played a Final Fantasy game. All I know is that these games are ridiculously long for no reason. That's all I know about these games. I don't know nothing about Final Fantasy. Never played one. Never touched one. Not a Final Fantasy game has not even touched my PlayStation. I don't own Xbox. I don't know. So I don't know nothing about it. Not a hater. I just never played it. Should I get into Final Fantasy? Let me know.
Disc 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you liked the Final Fantasy VII Remake, it looks like it's a much bigger, more advanced version of it. For instance, the synergized mechanic is now a part of the main battle system. The main battle system, I of course gave a lot of praise for the first time around. I'm happy they have retained it rather than attempt some big change in that. I think it's a large part of Remake's identity because it does so much in retaining a lot of the elements of the original turn-based system in what is more or less an action RPG format. In all seriousness, this is gonna be a great game. I like what they did with the first game. I like that they kind of made it so you don't really know what's going to happen because this is some part of a time loop in some way. And I think that that is a fun and interesting idea that kind of toys with the idea of a remake while also allowing us to have a remake. Probably the most interesting events in the entirety of the Final Fantasy VII narrative are pretty close on the horizon too. So I'm just really interested to see how this version plows through them, especially given the idea that things could change. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is landing on the PlayStation 5 February 29th. And number 4 is Homeworld 3.
I ain't never heard of this. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see what this game is about.
A direct sequel that happens after the previous 2 games. This is a real-time strategy game. This series spans back to 1999. There was recently a remaster as well as a prequel, and that stuff did really well. And they're like, oh, you know what? Let's continue that narrative. Now, this, to me, seems like it may be a good idea. It may not. We'll see. But the game fuses the RTS gameplay of Homeworld with what they're calling a roguelike structure. So, ideally, you're going to get a whole lot of replay value out of Homeworld 3. We shall see exactly what that equates to when it comes out, though. Homeworld 3 is coming to PC on March 8th.
Yeah, I never played
And
that.
number 3 is Mario vs. Donkey Kong, a Game Boy Advance game that came out in 2004 and is getting the full-blown remake treatment. Nintendo's been kind of...
Dang, I miss playing my Switch. I just had to point that out. Speaking of Mario, my Switch broke. That's why you haven't seen no Mario Kart videos. My Nintendo Switch is broke. And I didn't break it. It broke itself. You're probably wondering how it happened. If y'all care, comment about it. I'll talk about it eventually.
kind of knocking it out of the park with remakes of their older games lately. Mario RPG being probably the best example of that. This is a puzzle platformer where you got a lot of obstacles and you have to figure out how to get past them. It's a pretty hell of a fun game. I remember playing it, but it's been a long time, I'm not going to lie. Mario's got to find keys to get through a door, and he's basically rescuing, and this is the dumbest story conceit of all time, but mini Mario toys that Donkey Kong has stolen. This is actually, interestingly enough, very much the DNA of the original Donkey Kong game, where Mario basically had to traverse upward to basically stop old Donkey Kong from stealing a woman. That's not really the conceit of this game per se, but Mario vs. Donkey Kong was a spiritual successor to the Game Boy Donkey Kong, which kind of expanded on that original Donkey Kong. And now we're back to it on the Nintendo Switch, and it looks great. Mario vs. Donkey Kong is landing February 16th. And number 2 is Rise of the Ronin, an action RPG coming to us from Team Ninja. In a lot of ways, it's...
Okay, this game, I saw this game around, I did enjoy Ghost of Tsushima. I beat that game, on the PS4 before I got my 5. And I enjoyed it. And Ghost of Tsushima was made of Sucker Punch. And the reason why I'm mentioning Ghost of Tsushima, because it's basically like, it looked like it could be in the same universe. I ain't gonna lie. Like, is this made by Sucker Punch too? And Sucker Punch, when are you gonna make a new Sly Cooper? Like, God dang, San Zaro gotta go.
kind of a Eastern equivalent of all of the cowboy stories that are about the end of the Wild West. It takes place at the end of the Edo period and essentially plops you right into the middle of the Boshin War. A lot of people make a lot of comparisons to Ghost of Tsushima, but Team Ninja is also very well known for the Neo games, and I think it shouldn't be understated the amount of Dark Souls influence there probably will be on this. Granted, there's clearly Ghost of Tsushima influence here, but I think it's worth noting that these are not the same game, not having the exact same kinds of expectations. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I'm looking forward to it.
I might cop this just because it looked like some next level. Like, yeah, you know, like Ghost of Tsushima, I know it was a different game and everything, but this looks like it could be in the same universe type stuff. And you can see he pulling out a gun, shooting. The fighting styles look different. I just thought the camera angles is the only thing I had a problem with Ghost of Tsushima. Like, you gotta really fix the camera angles in that game. But other than that, that game was fire.
It. Keeping in mind there will probably be a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, it does have to be at least somewhat different from what that will be.
They gotta make a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. I love that game. You know, I'll play it again. I love Sucker Punch, you know. I growing up playing Sly Cooper. And then Infamous, you know. Infamous 1, 2, Infamous Second Son. You know. So yeah, they make another Ghost of Tsushima, that'd be fire. But they can't. Don't give up on Sly Cooper, man. Why? I'm a Sly Cooper fan. It still is. I got a poster of Sly Cooper in my room. Let me get back on topic. Let's go.
But I kind of expect them to have that figured out, having done Neo. And, well, I'm pretty excited for it. Rise of the Ronin is coming to the PS5 on March 22nd. And finally, at number 1, it is Dragon's Dogma 2. I mean, Dragon's Dogma was pretty misunderstood when it came out, but it grew to major cult classic status. If you're not familiar, it's an action RPG that you got a lot of hack and slash stuff going on. You can feel a little bit of Devil May Cry influence, but it's also its own thing for sure. It's a Capcom game, so there is a fair amount of expectation for a sequel, and the sequel drastically expands on the first game, giving us a world that's 4 times the size, giving us our nice customizable pawn system to continue the ideas of the first game. And interestingly enough, they say that it takes place in a parallel worlds to the first game. So it's not a direct sequel. It is probably very much a sort of reset because it's been 12 years since the original game. And I would expect that it drastically expands on a lot of the concepts from the original game. The team apparently was inspired by Grand Theft Auto 5's emergent gameplay, so I'm excited to see exactly where that goes. Dragon's Dogma 2 is landing on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC March 22nd. I do have a bonus game for you, the Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons remake. This is, of course, a great game. Many consider it a classic at this point, but it is also kind of a game that was developed at a time where people weren't really sure what they wanted from graphics. Like, some of it's a little cartoony, some of it's reaching for not cartoony, and I think sort of unifying the visual style. And
speaking of graphics, I ain't gonna lie, don't get me wrong. The new graphics on these new consoles is fire, don't get me wrong. But hey, as long as this graphics and gameplay, that's fire. But I'm not too big on graphics anymore, you know. Like, don't get me wrong, they're pretty to look at, but I could go back and still play my PlayStation 2 and shit. You know, I could go back and play it, and it won't bother me at all. I'm not PS5 bougie or whatever it is you want to call it. I go back. I could play my Nintendo Wii right now. I got it hooked up. I could play it right now and get past the graphics, you know. I ain't gonna lie, I did play Mario Kart on the Wii a couple of months ago just to see how it looked compared to the Switch. I ain't gonna, that shit look ugly though. I ain't gonna, it did look ugly compared to the Switch version, but yeah.
And making it look much better without making it look like not cartoony anymore. It's a good idea. I'm excited to play Brothers again. I certainly will. It's landing on the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series on February 28th. That's all for today. Leave us a comment.
All right. So, Out of all these games, let's take a look. We can see from here. Tekken 8, Persona, Alone in Dark look interesting. You know, in the Silent Hill, I think I saw. No, Silent Hill. No, that wasn't Silent Hill. I was looking at games on the PS5 store or the PlayStation store, and I seen there's a new Silent Hill coming up. Also, I think it was just announced, and also they just announced a new Metal Gear Solid. So yeah, those caught my attention. You know, I gotta really get back into gaming, and I want to do it with y'all. I want to like get into this. Oh yeah, speaking of this, look at Power World. I never played Power World. I never did. I plan on getting it when I get paid because I am going through the struggle. Yes, I am struggling. I'm trying to save and make more bread. Come on, monetize me, YouTube. Other than that, I do plan on getting some of these games. That Suicide Squad game, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna have to cop it. You know, it comes out on Friday at the time of this recording. It comes out this Friday at the time of this recording, and it looks interesting. I just hope it's not butt cheeks. That new samurai game, that samurai game look fire. I ain't gonna lie, you know. I like after Ghost of Tsushima, I look at samurai games as like a good brand now. Like I thought it was gonna be corny. I ain't gonna lie, but like, share, and subscribe, and I'm out of here.